other different types of dementia, and depending upon where the difficulties lie, that in the illness determines the course of treatment.
Yes, you can. All you have to do is want to do it.
Yes.
Want to be it.
When you set your mind to it, and this is who you are, and
the grown men. We have the youth that we need to mentor, and we need to inspire, and we need to motivate. But I know, as a recent conversation between you and I, that you're also in the business of motivating grown men. Through that, I'm supposed to see God in it at every turn. So me going to the Sea of Galilee was to remind me of that, to refresh myself of that. It is all under control, that He does have it. It's just as clear as that fresh water that I saw.
Your Our Unity, hosted by LeShawn Walker, Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. EST.
Welcome, everyone, to Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to be a positive influence to all the young people in your world or in your space. How about you guide them and give them encouragement, instill some wisdom that only you can. I am your host, LeShawn Walker, and this is my co-host,
Selene, Ferdinand.
She came to visit me today. I haven't seen my friend in forever. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great. I've been celebrating for like a whole month. You know what I mean? This is the last day of January. I cannot believe that the time has gone by so fast. 2023 came in hot and smoking, my friend.
Yeah.
You have been doing a lot as well. So I didn't do anything this past weekend. I needed to take a break from all the partying and celebrating and exciting things that I've been doing in my life. But this one, she's been busy for the last few months that we haven't seen her. So Selene, catch us up with what's going on in your world.
So actually, this weekend on Saturday, I got my first order of Girl Scout cookies. And this weekend, we didn't do too much, but so on Sunday, we just chilled and we were doing these questions for this newspaper I'm going to be on.
Okay.
It's going to be Newsday.
Yes.
And
I heard about that. That is awesome. So they're doing like a whole article, a whole spread on you, correct?
Yeah.
And everything that you're doing in the community. Because you know, you guys, she is the founder of Mirror Empowerment, which is a children's empowerment program in Elmont, New York. You are doing amazing things. And you're also a pageant queen. I understand you're relinquishing the crown soon.
Yeah.
So what happened in November? Tell me, or was it November since the last time we saw you? What happened when you went to the pageant in Florida?
So the pageant was really good, actually. I did awesome. I won 7 awards.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
And I didn't win the overall thing, but I won $1,000.
Wow. That is amazing.
And I made it into the top 5 people to win a car, but I didn't win it, sadly.
That's okay. I mean, you can't drive unless you wanted to give it to me, of course, you know. And that's a different story. But I am so happy and I'm so proud of you. You're really, truly doing some great things. And so is Mirror Empowerment. Every time I look online, you're serving in some capacity, you're giving back. You and your mom are cooking something for some organization. I think it's truly amazing. You're a blessing in a lot of people's lives, my friend.
Thank you.
So I'm so glad that you're here. You know that it is the youth edition of Our Unity, and my co-host is probably going to be here all the time. But we're talking about mentorship, and I know you do that with Mirror Empowerment as well. It's important for you to support the young people in your community, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit what you feel about mentorship and how important it is.
I think mentorship is really important because it's important for the youth in our communities to find who they are and to really feel empowered and to really gain the self-confidence in themselves.
No, I agree. And I know that the pageant IGM and NAM
Yes.
helped you a lot with, mentorship, showing you what it's like to be this pageant queen that you are today. So I know you're giving back, and we have another guest here that you've introduced me to. So I want to get right to it, my friends. We're going to be talking to another young lady who is all about giving back. And she's also a mentor at this moment as well. And she has been mentored too. And the title of the show today is Impact Young Minds. That's what this young, beautiful lady is actually doing. And her name is Marsheley Souverin. And she is a 23-year-old born and raised in Brooklyn. She spent her childhood praise dancing in church. At the age of 11, she began competing in National American Miss pageants. Year after year, she would place, and it wasn't until 2017 she was crowned the National American Miss New York Teen. She spent her reign advocating for self-love and volunteering in her community. Currently, Marsheley is studying for her master's degree in social work. She is also a teacher's assistant in a New York City Department of Education public high school, teaching kids with developmental disabilities. She spends some of her free time mentoring and volunteering for Children of Promise, a community-centered organization who mentors and support the youth who have incarcerated family members. This past November, Marsheley represented her city at the National All-American Miss Pageant in Orlando, Florida, where she placed top 12 in the country. So what's next for her? Well, she intends to continue to participate in pageants, to be crowned amazing queen year after year after year, and advocating for those who are not able to do it for themselves. So please help me welcome, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly because I've been calling you Marsha. Please help me welcome Marsheley.
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 It's okay. It's a spelling.
Exactly. I like to put my little French spin on it. Marsheley.
Yes.
Souverin?
Yes.
Okay, at least I got that right. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. It is such a blessing to have you here, right?
Yeah.
It's so good. Again, I know you guys know each other, and I've met you before, actually, at the breast cancer walk that we all participated in a few months back. And again, I mentioned because of everything that you have going on, I wanted to have a discussion with you about what you're passionate about as well. We've got some young people doing great things in this world, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, I thought she was a little younger than she is.
Yes. I would think you're like 18, like 16 or something.
I guess 16 and 17 a lot. And it's funny because I work in a high school and they're just like, they always think I'm a student. And I've been there for over a year now. And I'm like, 23 guys.
I believe it. I believe it. No, you truly do. You look very young. But again, Youth Edition, we're talking about the youth and how important it is to be mentors in their life and have a mentor in your life. But first, I want you to tell us a little about your childhood, where you grew up, what that was like. Share with us.
So I'm a first generation American, 100% Haitian, both my parents, and I'm super proud of my culture. Love Haiti. I grew up the youngest. I have 4 older siblings, 2 that I was raised with. So I feel like my childhood was amazing. I've always had people that I can look up to, always had people around me. I have a very supportive family. I'm a big dreamer. Anybody that knows me knows I dream big and I just go for it. And my family is so supportive and I love them with all my heart. Even to this day at my grown age of 23.
Still, they have a little baby, right?
I will always be the little
No, that is so cool. So basically, again, great family support, very encouraging, telling you that your dreams can come true, which is why you obviously dream so big, right? So what did you dream about being when you were a little girl?
It's funny because when I was younger, I wanted to be everything. So like I wanted to be a dancer, I wanted to be an actress, I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to do all of it. But as I grew older, I actually found different things that interest me. At one point, I wanted to be a physical therapist, which was totally random.
Really?
Yeah. And then I started working with physical therapists and I'm like,
maybe that's
maybe
not
not.
for me.
And then this is where I found my true passion. I started working as basically a it was called the Hug Program.
Okay.
And it's like a therapy camp. It's affiliated with Maimonides Medical Center.
Right.
And I was working alongside social workers.
Oh.
So it was like a regular camp, but every day, the teens that I would work with, they would have therapy sessions for an hour.
Aww.
And we would just talk about open topics, like anything. And we would just, you know, have regular activities like a camp afterwards and go on trips. And that really helped me find my passion and love for social work. And I'm like, I want to be able to advocate for the youth, because doing that program 4 years straight, it showed me like there's a lot of youth that's like, it's hard for them to open up. It's hard for them to do things that they want. And just being there for them, it made a huge impact, even though the program is only 6 weeks.
Right.
And it's like, you know, like you grow a bond with them. They feel comfortable with you. And it's just, it goes to show, like, even in our topic today, it goes to show how mentoring goes a long way. Even if it's not, you know, permanent, you're not there for a long time, it goes a long way, because you have an impact on 1, 2, or it doesn't matter how many people's lives.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree with that. One person can make a huge difference. And just you caring and sharing in that moment will last a lifetime for them, you know? So I know you can relate to that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you've had some pretty cool mentors in your life that you still obviously speak with and shared important information with you that you're still using today, right?
Yes.
Yeah, see?
Because mentoring has actually helped me really a lot, build my confidence, made me more comfortable around others, because I would be that shy girl. Always, I would hide behind my mom's leg. And talking about mentoring, how do you mentor and inspire them?
Love that question. So, you know, it didn't happen overnight. Honestly, pageantry paved the way for me, because I started pageantry at a young age. But as you grow older, it's like you have these younger people who are looking up to you and you don't even realize it. And it took me a minute to realize it. It wasn't until I had my first title in 2017. You remember. And as a teen queen, I had so many younger, like, sister queens. And it's like I basically a role model for them. They look up to me. They feel comfortable talking to me. And even with that, I had a YouTube channel and I was always vlogging my pageant experiences. And there are people I didn't even know who would watch my vlogs, and they would come up to me and be like, you've inspired me to do this. You've inspired me to compete in National American Miss. And it's like, wow, that's so crazy. But it honestly started with pageantry.
That's amazing. What made you get into pageantry then?
It was so random.
Really?
It was so random. I was 11. At that age, I was already, you know, perky, doing a bunch of dancing. I had my mom all over New York trying to sign me to a talent agency. I wanted to be on Disney Channel so bad.
Oh, wow.
The little one thing is so cute.
Like I said, I've always been a big dreamer. But I got a letter in the mail, and you know, the letter in the mail we all get. And it was about an open call. And at first, you know, we didn't really trust it. But me being 11 years old and perky, I'm doing my research. I'm like, I don't see anything bad about it. So I persuaded my mom, and we went to the open call. Ever since then, it was history. Fell in love with it. Came back year after year. And it was just, for me, I kept coming back because of the environment and the people I was meeting. Because what you see on TV is not what you get in real life. You see pageants on TV, you think makeup, snobby, like it's a huge stereotype. And then when you get there, it's like, wow, like this is a whole different world. Everyone is so nice. And once you hit the stage, it's like, it's nerve-wracking, don't get me wrong. I'm always going to be nervous about it. But it's like all of that goes away once the light shines. And it's just like the confidence it shows. And from there, like year after year, I just kept coming back.
That's amazing. What did they specifically teach you? I mean, I know you were a dreamer, and I know that you would tackle things immediately. What did National American Miss then teach you?
Honestly, National American Miss taught me a lot about myself that I didn't even know. And it also taught me how to instill self-love, which is something I advocate for a lot, because growing up even though on the outside, like I said, I was super happy and super cheerful, always participating in things.
Right.
On the inside, I didn't feel that way.
Really?
I had a lot of self-doubt. I did not think I was beautiful. And it was very, for me, it was like living a double life.
Right.
So I feel like National American Miss, or just pageants in general, definitely helped me instill, an authentic confidence that I didn't even know I had.
Right.
It gave me the voice that I didn't know I had. It instilled so much in me that I'm still learning to this day.
Right.
And honestly, I have pageantry to thank for everything that I am right now, because it's been a journey.
That's
11
amazing.
years, now 12.
Wow. Go ahead, you had something?
And National American Miss teaches girls a lot. It really does. And it really teaches us how to gain that self-confidence.
It really does.
And I've seen that impact in a lot of girls that I've known for years in pageants.
I could imagine. I'm impressed with the fact that you said it taught you a lot about yourself. I thought by listening to you, you already knew who you was, girl. And the fact that you are being honest about that, because a lot of people don't admit that they're sort of masking themselves sometime. I might show and walk this air of confidence, but deep down inside, I'm not. And I think that's important, that to really teach kids and guide them through, because I know that there's, especially with social media, there's a lot of kids out there living that double life that you were. And I'm glad that you're advocating for self-love, because that needs to be in the forefront, especially now with this world
now
sort
more
of
than ever.
Yes, exactly. now more than ever. So on that journey of discovering yourself, I mean, what did you find that was more shocking that you discovered about yourself, if you don't mind spilling the tea? Go ahead.
Honestly, for me, it's like I just had to tell myself these things because it was hard to believe. You hear something and you just take it and run. Like I said, I didn't think I was beautiful. It was very hard for me to admire my dark skin, my kinky afro, just because like growing up, it wasn't the societal norm.
Exactly.
And I didn't see a lot of people who look like me in the media. And for me, I just had to keep telling myself, like, I'm beautiful. And I can't wait for others to tell me that, because if I wait on them, I'm going to be waiting forever. And I have to be able to believe myself and believe in myself. So for me, it was just knowing that I'm more than enough, knowing my worth, knowing myself more than anybody can know me, because nobody knows you more than you know you, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to know yourself, be sure of yourself, and honestly, the confidence will start to evolve, and you'll just become a completely different person that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah, I love that. And it's true for even adults. And it's sad because it took me 50 years to go down the path that this lady did. And like 15, 16 years old. But it's only because you don't realize that. I was masking myself. I was happy and sunshine and I'm, living this life. I didn't have confidence issues in my beauty, but I did have confidence issues in maybe my body, as I was growing up. So what I did was I was the kind, funny person, never admitted that, if I had an issue that I did. But at 50 years old is when I decided that I needed to figure out who I was. And I mean, from the deep down inside of my core, who I was. And then I went on this self-discovery journey. And it's the self-love that is so amazing to me. So tell me about that. I know you're an advocate for it. February 14th is fast approaching. It's all about love. And people usually associate it, obviously, with couples and things like that. But it's really about us as well. It's about us loving ourselves. So share with me what that means to you, self-love, and how important it is for us to gain it at a younger age than 50, folks, okay?
Listen, better late than never.
I know.
Better late than never. But for me, it's all about putting yourself first. And it's hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard because it feels a little selfish. But at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first. You have to put your needs first. So even just a little pampering, taking yourself like on a little date. Like sometimes I like to go like on a sushi date and just do my homework and just make myself feel loved because I'm spending time with myself. So like that's how I show, that's how I start, like, you know, getting into the whole self-love thing, just treating yourself, chilling at home, even small things like that, spending time with yourself. That's another part of self-love. Like I said, putting yourself first. I do a lot of journaling, and I feel like through journaling, I'm able to learn a lot by myself. Sometimes I like to look up prompts, and it gets me thinking. And it's another way of, you know, just thinking outside the box, learning more about yourself that you didn't even know. Because there's always brand new things that you're going to find out about yourself, believe it or not, even though I've been with myself for 23 years. But just little things like that. I feel like self-love comes in so many different shapes, sizes, forms. Like the list goes on and on, honestly.
But you have to do it. You have to take the time to do it. And she's right. Those were only a few ideas that you have. I'm still getting used to going out by myself. I can't even go to the store by myself. It is. It really is. And I don't know if it's that I'm worried about what other people are going to say. Oh, she's alone. She can't have a friend. But I don't know. I think it's just I like that comfort of someone being there with me. But it is also important to journal, meditate, spend time reflecting, right?
You have to stay positive and like believe in yourself. Like maybe write down little positive quotes on a post-it note, like stick them on your wall. And like every morning you wake up, you read them, and just to make that positive start in your day.
I totally agree. That's how you do it.
And I love that you're doing it from a young age. I love that for you.
And I love how in my school every morning we do a nice like breathing, nice calming pose.
Oh, I love that. Like a form of meditation to open up your open up your heart and your mind to what's possible for the day. So I really love that. So self-love, again, so important. Very important, as you mentioned, to instill it in children even younger than her, to be honest with you. And we mentioned obviously social media and how it's just playing a big, huge part in people's, especially young kids' life and how they feel about themselves. So I know that you're a mentor and you so passionate about it. I mean, when we was talking about it, you was getting so excited. So tell me about your journey towards now becoming a mentor.
So it's been I can say it's been a long journey for me, only because, yes, I've been advocating for all these amazing things, but I've also been scared to, you know, step out my comfort zone and just be the voice that I like. I know I have the voice. I know I can advocate for things that I care about. But it took me a minute to like really just go out there and do it. For years, I wanted to be an active mentor because yes, I started with pageantry and there's people who look up to me. I have nieces and nephews, so I know there's people that look up to me, but to really get out in my community and be an active mentor, it took me a while. I came across Children of Promise this past summer and I was like, you know, I love everything that they stand for. I want to go volunteer with them. I didn't even know they had a mentoring program at this time.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I want to go volunteer with them. I participated in their food pantry that they had. I forgot what month it was. And they have a Saturday resource center where their kids would like come on Saturdays and they would have like tutoring and homework help. And then they would have like a day of activities for them. It was so cute.
Oh my God.
They still do it. They do it every Saturday.
And
I think that's when I found out about the mentoring program. I was like, God, is that you speaking to me? I was like, I have to do this. Like, I have to do this. The process was long, rightfully so, because as a mentor, it's like you have to be, you know, a good person, no crazy background. It took a while, but it was so worth it.
I know it
like
was.
Even in that interview, I was just so excited. Like everything was so exciting because I wanted to do it so bad. And this past December, I was paired with my mentee. I love her so much. We're like so similar. And even though it's only been a short amount of time. And I met her mom afterwards. So sweet. And we had a mentee and mentor meet and greet about 2 weeks now. Well, it's not a full 2 weeks,
Right.
but a week and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
we had a fun Saturday where we got to, it was a bunch of mentors,
Okay.
myself included, and mentees, and we just spent the day together. Well, we had a mini training, and then we spent the day together, and we participated in some activities. We had like this trust activity where you had to put a blindfold on your mentee, and you had to like basically assist them without like touching them.
Right.
So they had to trust you.
Wow.
So like you tell them to go over this and step over that and jump through this, jump through that. But it was fun.
I like that.
And, you know, we ate, we had fun. And even though it's still early in the whole mentoring program for me, I'm just so excited to see where this is going to go and where it's going to take me, because this is, I know in my heart, and I feel it. Like, I know this won't be the only mentorship that I ever do.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And I'm just so excited.
That's wonderful. That's
Yes.
wonderful. You got a question?
Not really, but how do you know that you're ready to do this, and when did you really find out this?
The funny thing about life is that you're never really ready.
Never.
You're never ready.
Never.
You just have to go out there and, you know, find that confidence.
Yes.
You just have to tell yourself, you can't wait on people. You can't wait for a sign. If you want to do it, you just have to go out there and just do it. Like, there was no more waiting for me, because I knew I wanted to do it so bad. Same thing with pageantry. It's like I come back year after year because I know that I want to, I'm passionate about it.
Yes.
So it's like, you just have to go out there and do it.
And just do it. I love that. Well, Children of Promise, which I became familiar with this organization because a few years ago, a friend of mine actually was interviewing, had a forum, and I was the moderator.
Nice.
So I met the young lady who is the founder, Sharon Content, and I love the organization from that moment when she told everyone what it was about. And basically, for you guys, in Children of Promise, New York City, which also has a location in the Bronx and Brooklyn, reimagines a just society that values the purpose of every child impacted by mass incarceration and removes barriers to create opportunities for children to thrive and achieve their human potential. And it's basically a community-centered organization that partners with children and families impacted by mass incarceration to dismantle the stigma and heal from the trauma plaguing Black and Brown communities. So I could imagine the children that you are encountering on a daily basis. And I don't want you to get into their stories, but or specifics, but what are you seeing when you walk through that door, and how is it impacting you as a person?
Honestly, it's weird because, like I said, growing up, I had a good childhood, which I feel like for them, they face a lot of adversity. And when I walk in there, I see a lot of myself in them. And it's like, I know these kids are big dreamers. I know they want to do so much, but they feel limited. And I know they can thrive, but they have to know that too, which is why I'm so big on mentoring and just being that advocate and spokesperson. But yeah, like, these kids have been through so much and they're so young, which is why, like, I really, really wanted to be a part of this program. And just, especially for kids that are Black and Brown specifically, because I know, like, when you go through things like that at a young age, that's when the self-love comes into play, and it starts hindering your confidence and hindering what you feel like you can and cannot do. So it's a journey.
No, I could imagine. I could imagine. And seeing someone like you come in and want to listen, because sometimes that's all kids are asking for, you know?
They want to be heard.
They want to be heard. They want to be heard, and they don't want you to slap their hand and don't speak, and I'm not ready to talk, and I don't have the time, and I have to go to work. There's so many variables that come into play, but it's wonderful to have, especially a youthful person as well. Because sometimes, you know, a grown person is intimidating, right? Like, you really don't want to listen to it because all they're doing is going to tell you stuff you don't want to hear. But when it's someone who is a little older than they are, I could imagine that they feel more, you know, engaged, and they're willing to kind of share because they think that you know, or feel that you know where they're coming from. So these kids, What ages are they? Are they ranging in ages?
So yeah, there's a huge range. Honestly, I'm not sure where it starts. I want to say it's from like probably 7, 8, 9 around that area. That's where it probably starts. I'm not too sure of the details, but up until like their last year of high school, so like right before adulthood.
Wow.
So there's a huge age
Yes.
range, and my mentee, she's only 12.
Wow.
So there's like a lot of kids, a lot of different ages, a lot of different backgrounds. Very versatile.
No, I love that because of the tools that they're teaching them. Obviously, it's not just for the youth that, you know, we're helping you with homework. We're supporting you mentally because a lot of kids also go through mental health issues as well that I'm sure will come out during the process. But teaching you how to be an adult. I mean, if they have, you know, have these ages well up into their late teens, then it is apparent that they are preparing them for the world.
Of course.
So I think that is so awesome. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, you inspire them and you're mentoring them and they're learning from you. Have you ever learned anything from them? Have they ever like made you even that made you feel more inspired?
I love that question.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. Honestly, I see a lot of bravery in these kids because I feel like at that age, like the things that they like, they're so wise beyond their years, and there's so much to learn from them. I can't think of anything specific, but because of the things that they've been through, I feel like it kind of forced them to mature a little quicker. But yeah, they're such brave kids. They've been through so much and they're still able to, you know, wake up, put a smile on their face and, you know, go about their day. So I feel like that alone is inspiring because everybody everywhere goes through so much. And it takes a lot to just be positive after going through God knows what.
Exactly.
But they are inspiring. They definitely are.
And strong too.
Very strong.
They have to be very strong. I mean, just the circumstances, which I'm sure a lot of them are under, and not because of their own doing, which is the sad part. And there are leaders in those kids. There are presidents and doctors and but not only for their circumstances. They would have already been on that path, you know, but the trauma of what they're going through and the confusion of what they're going through, I'm sure, you know, sort of just stifles all of that. And like you mentioned, going through those unforeseen circumstances that were not, you know, caused by themselves, it also has to cause a lot of self-doubt in themselves. So it is beautiful that you're there and your new mentee, I'm sure you and her are going to be hanging out and doing great things.
Listen,
so
so
how long
excited.
do you have them? Like the mentees, how long are you her mentor?
So it's a year-long commitment. But it can definitely go over. And at the mentor training that we had back in October, I believe, we had basically mentors who have been in the program for years and come in and share about their experiences. And I remember one lady saying that she was with her mentee for like, I want to say 8 years. She got her around like the age of like 12 and maybe a little younger. My math is off. And now she's getting ready to go to college. So she's helping her with that whole process. At that point, they're like family to each other. They traveled together. It's like a second mother to her. It's like just being there for a person. It has a huge impact on their life. And I was just sitting there like, wow, that is so beautiful.
No, that is beautiful. Because that's now you've ingratiated this person into your family. You are now my family member. And I'm responsible for you. You know, I'm responsible for your sadness, your failures, your successes, your triumphs, because I'm pouring into you and wanting to guide you. I think that is amazing. So this is going to be the long haul for you, my friend. It really is. I'm so excited for you. So, you know, how important do you think it is, you know, and I'm sure I asked this before, but especially now for these young kids, to understand who they are and to follow those dreams? Because again, you said it took some time for you to love yourself. So to give them a little shortcut, you know, let's figure out now how you can do that.
Right.
How important is that you feel that they know this now, that
Mhm.
this is the time for you to work on yourself, for you to find out who you
Mhm.
are, for you to leap at your dreams and
Mhm.
not be fearful? Because even at 50 years old, folks, we still do it.
Uh-huh.
It is faith now over fear, but we
Mhm.
still go through that
Yep.
fear.
Yep.
So how do we get over that?
For me, I feel like because it happened so recently and so drastically,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so excited and so passionate about like throwing that on to others.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like you got to start from somewhere, right? They have to start believing in themselves.
Yeah.
And even just me being their mentor, I feel like having that one person support you, it goes a long way. Because once you feel that, it's like the confidence just comes out of nowhere and you feel like you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
You have that one person and then you start to believe it yourself.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's all I just want to be for them, because now more than ever, it's so easy to lose yourself
Yeah.
and become someone you're not.
Yeah.
And I feel like as long as you know yourself, you know what you want to do, you know your worth, you know what your plans are, you can go such a long way.
You can,
Mhm.
you can. And I feel it's now time to figure out who you are and then own that person.
Yeah.
And if you need to make any adjustments to that person, you have time to do it, but at least admit that you do and
Right.
start working on the process. And I think
Mhm.
that's wonderful. And I think
Yeah.
also that's part of mentorship as well,
It
is
is.
to instill that in people,
It
you know,
is.
in the young people.
And like you said earlier, some people feel ashamed because of not the inside but the outside, because the inside, it's beautiful and it's really inspiring, but they're discouraged because of maybe how they look, but they're really beautiful, and they have to share some things, that kindness, that positivity in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I struggled. I mean, when I was younger, again, I was always funny and I knew I was pretty. I was in the mirror, girl.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I had my blonde wigs. I was singing blonde wigs. Yes, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I had issues. But the fact is that I knew that I had this, you know, it was just everything else. I was a chubby kid and, you know, all my friends were all tiny. So I did go through that point that I had a self-confidence issue with that. But as I became a teenager, now I'm filling out, I'm looking more like an adult. I didn't particularly care for it, but at least I had more of a shape. I didn't feel like a chubby girl anymore. But it took me time to get there. And honestly, I think that it was the outside influences that made me feel better about it than me myself, you know?
That's
And
nice.
so I only say that because I saw their view of me changing. You know, it's like she's not the chubby kid anymore. Oh, look at that tail on her. Look at that waist. You know, it became that. So now it's sort of matched up. But still, that's a self-confidence issue because I look for acceptance from their eyes, and usually it was males, you know, for me to feel that, oh yeah, I know I look good, I know. So I want women and children, as you mentioned, to feel it from the inside first, and don't worry about the outside, because that's going to shine once you have control of that love on the inside, and you know that you are the beautiful person inside and out, that you look as good as you feel, you know? And I think that's important to share as well. So we know you're a mentor, but we also know you work for the New York City school department, education department, and you're working with children with developmental disabilities. What is that like?
It's very interesting.
Really?
It's very interesting. I can say every day is something different, and I'm never bored. I'm never bored. When I first started, it was a little overwhelming because I wasn't used to the environment. But like, you grow, you find a different type of love for these kids because they're going through so much and they can't even express it.
Yeah.
And because most of my students are nonverbal.
Okay.
And they can't really express it. But like, once you like really get to know them, really spend a lot of time with them, because I'm spending 8 hours of my day every day with them.
Wow.
So at that point, we're like joined by the hip. And you learn so much about them, and it's so interesting. I'm learning so much from them, and I love these kids. Like,
Really?
I treat these kids like they're my own.
You see?
And it's so funny because they're not children.
Right.
Like, they're in a high school setting, so like they're basically adults. Some of them already, like, they're past 18.
Right. Wow.
So it's very interesting. I'm gonna keep saying interesting because
Yes.
it is. Like, I'm learning so much, and I've only been here for like a year and a half.
Wow.
And I love the environment.
That's great.
I really do.
That is really good, and it takes patience.
It
too.
does. I think I learned that on the job. I learned that on the job.
Yes.
And it's very interesting how you can know someone and like your students, you can know them for such a short period of time and get so attached to them.
Yeah. No,
Attached is a good word.
No, I know. She said they are literally stuck to the hip for 8 hours a day, but I guess it has to be that way because of what their challenges are as well. And I'm sure they're looking to you for that mentorship. You're that older, wiser person that is helping them in that moment. So I think that's nice. What do you find rewarding about doing that? Because again, you light up when you speak about, spending time with these children. So what's rewarding about it?
Everything that I'm learning. Like you said, you have to have patience for it. Patience I didn't even know I had. It's rewarding just being there, able to experience that, because I know, like, this is not a job everybody can do. I've seen people come and go, and it's like you really have to have a lot of compassion, which a lot of people don't have, believe it or not. True. But you have to have a lot of compassion working at that type of environment. Right. And I'm just so blessed and grateful to be able to, work with those specific kids.
Exactly. Especially kids, like you said, they're nonverbal. So they really can't advocate for themselves. And it is important to have people who really enjoy that job and not just do it because they want to collect a paycheck, and because it's within their wheelhouse. I think you really have to have the heart to do that job properly, and to see, like I said, the joy that comes over your face. It's proof that though it's maybe challenging and hard, that you still do enjoy it. So have you grown from tell us how you've grown in the last couple of years or a year and a half?
For starters, I feel like when I first started, I was very, like I said, I wasn't used to the environment. I didn't know what to expect. I was very, I don't like to use the word afraid. Okay. But I wasn't using my voice the way I feel like I could have. Okay. Because at the end of the day, a lot of them can't speak for themselves. Right. So me as a paraprofessional, teacher's assistant, I have to be able to speak up for them and, be their advocate. And I feel like now, year and a half later, I'm definitely able to speak up for all my students. Love it. And if I feel like something is unfair or unjust, I'm going to say it because I care for these kids and I want to see them happy. Right. And I want their environment to remain a positive, loving environment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how they thrive, right? That's how they thrive. I love it. Go ahead.
And although some of your students may not be able to speak verbally, you are allowed to connect with them and really communicate with them. Although they cannot really talk to you, you're still able to really feel how they are.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I understand them. Wow. I understand them. Because a lot of them, they have devices, but even though, some of them don't, after a while, you just learn a person. Right. It's like, what they want. Their routines. Yes. All these students have routines. And it's like, after a while, them. Yes. Yeah. Like nobody's business. Yeah. I know these kids.
I believe that. I believe that. And especially their actions and their movements. Even if they're not speaking, they're able to communicate with you, even with their eyes, So I think that's wonderful. So you have grown also in patience. Yeah. You have grown that you are become fearless. You have found your voice and teaching this to these kids, these mentors. I mean, these children that you're mentoring now at the Children of Promise. is going to serve them so well
Yeah.
as they get older. It
Mhm.
really, really is. So you see this in your future for the long haul.
Yeah.
I love it. So tell us what's next new now for Miss, I'm going to say it, Marsheley.
Yes.
Go ahead.
you
What's
got
up?
it.
What's going on?
Honestly, so much. I have so
Really?
much planned. I'm already doing so much. I feel like the pandemic was a big transformation time period for me.
Mhm.
And it just made me think, like, life is short.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? There's so much that I can be out there doing that I'm not.
Yes.
And last year was when I really just started to step out my comfort zone and just started doing a bunch of things that scared me, like terrified. I've always wanted to pursue modeling, and now I'm finally doing it.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm stepping into a different pageant.
Okay.
Because I've been doing National American Miss for a very long time.
Okay.
Like half of my life.
Right.
And I'm definitely ready to move on and, take that elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'm a grown woman now. There's so much that I've learned. I want to take everything that I learned from National American Miss and just life in general and just place that into another system.
Right.
So I'm excited for that.
Nice.
And I also have some exciting news. So New York Fashion Week is coming up, and I will be in my very first fashion show.
Oh my God!
So,
Congratulations! It's coming up in February or March, right?
Yeah, well, February.
Okay.
So it's literally like
a couple of weeks away.
2 weeks. Yeah, the same week as Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Are we getting tickets? Do you know the designer already?
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk.
I'm very excited.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look at the opportunities that just come your way. You guys are doing such great work. I am so serious. And to think again, she's literally following in your footsteps, my friend.
And she's doing so much.
Isn't she?
So much.
And I'm sure she can relate to everything that you went through, right?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that is so great. My God. Look, you heard it here first, folks. She's going to be at New York Fashion Week in February. Yes. So obviously I'll be sharing the highlights and the photos and all that because I'm sitting front row. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I will be there.
I got you in.
Oh, thank you. So I'm saying, so you are, again, pursuing another system for your craft.
Yes.
And that is starting this year. You're going to be starting that
very soon. I will be announcing it very soon.
Oh my God.
So stay tuned for that.
That is so cool.
Yes.
So tell me, what would you say to the youth out there, especially about, seeking a mentor? Because there's a lot of children that don't know there's opportunities out there. You don't necessarily have to be part of a program to seek mentorship. So what would you share with the youth about mentorship and how important it is and how they need to go and get it right now?
Honestly, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like she said, you don't have to be affiliated with any programs. Just you being yourself, you'll be able to do things that you didn't even know you'll be able to do. And just keep being you. Honestly, that's all I could really say, because once you find that confidence, you feel unstoppable. You feel on top of the world, and there's nothing you can't do.
That's right. And your confidence doesn't come from other people.
Does it?
It comes from deep inside. You have to own who you are. You have to believe in what you are and who you are and what you're doing. Don't let outside influences dictate how wonderful and amazing you are, because you will never receive the, gratification from that. And if you do, it won't be long lasting and it won't be genuine. You know who you are only through who you are. I don't know if that even made sense, folks, but it's the best way I can do right now, because that's what I'm so serious about that. Like, you really don't know who you are until you own who you are.
Mhm.
And sometimes that takes a long time, but you've got to be willing to put in the work, because
Yes.
it's you that you're talking about, and you matter. You are important.
Yeah.
You're smart. You're
Mhm.
intelligent. You are all these amazing things, but you have to believe it first. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Just because, you're looking
Yeah.
good in that skirt and you're pretty.
Yeah.
No, I was already beautiful. I was already pretty. I
Mhm.
already had a beautiful shape.
Mhm.
I had to believe that,
Yeah.
So I think that's important for the youth to know as
It
well.
is.
So what would you share with the people out there that are listening to you? And this is any age group, because I am now interested in signing up with Children of Promise Mentorship Program.
Yes,
Yes.
you
So,
should.
and so we'll be in touch, Sharon, Miss Content. But what would you like to share with people who may have never thought about being a mentor?
Mhm.
And there's so many people or children that need, in the community,
Mhm.
that could use your help. It could be your next door neighbor. You don't
Yeah.
know what they're going through.
Mhm.
So what would you share with them about stepping out of that fear
Yeah.
and imparting some wisdom and guidance to
Mhm.
these young kids? What would you say?
The funny thing about life is that you never know who's watching. It took me a while to realize that people were looking up to me as a role model.
Mhm.
And you won't ever know it. Like, maybe nobody will ever come up to you,
Right.
but there's always somebody watching, and
Right.
there's always something you can teach somebody.
Yes.
So don't be afraid to step out that comfort zone. Don't be afraid to push yourself to the limit, and don't think that you're not good enough or wise enough or you haven't been through enough to be somebody's mentor, because at the end of the day, like I said, you can always teach somebody something. We all experience different things in life, and that's for a reason. So we
Yeah.
can teach each other and learn from each other.
Yeah.
We're all a walking, living testimony, and don't be afraid to share it.
That's
like,
right.
yeah.
All of it.
All of it. Every
All
single
of
detail.
it. Yes. Yes. Especially when we have young, beautiful young
Mhm.
ladies like this
Yeah.
coming up right behind us,
Mhm.
who are already leading the charge, that are doing amazing things in their
Yeah.
community. We got to continue to pour into them so that when she's a year older, because girl, I see it happening
Yeah.
right now. You are imparting wisdom into 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, She's doing a lot in her world. So we need these people, and we need you.
Yup.
So you need
Get
to go
out
out there
there.
and sign up for some program, some organization that is giving back to the youth. I mean, they are our future, and we want to make sure that they have a great future to live in,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
that's another thing. From the job that we're doing right now, we'll talk about that in another show. But we want to make sure that we're leaving them a wonderful legacy. And in doing that, we're instilling in them the education, the information, the love, and the compassion that they
Yeah.
need in order to make sure that we have a just society in their future, in the future. So, Selene,
Yes.
time is winding down, girl. I guess
Yeah.
I want you to tell me what's going on. What do you feel about this conversation? How do you feel about mentorship? What do you think you're going to be doing tomorrow?
Mm.
Well, I think this is a very important conversation. It is really important for the youth to know who they are and that they're important inside and out, and that it doesn't matter how they look in on the outside. It really matters how they are in the inside.
Mhm.
And sometimes you really need that person to talk to and communicate with.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I
And-
love that. Go ahead. And what?
Yes. And sometimes you just need that little push from someone to give you that inspiration,
Mhm.
to really give you that confidence to go after your dreams and chase them.
Yes. Yes. You are so right, my friend.
Mhm.
And just do what she said, because she's so right.
Yeah.
Go out there and chase your dreams. Go out there and live your best life. And most importantly, go out there and share everything about yourself with the world.
Everything.
Everything. The good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, the skinny, the fat, the whatever. Go out and share it with the world proudly, because there's only one you. And again, you matter. You matter. So we only have a few seconds.
Yeah.
Please tell us, what would you like to share with the audience before we leave?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for making me be able to sit here and speak about everything that I've been through and everything I'm doing now.
Yes.
like we said before, don't be afraid to step out your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to do things that scare you. I'm a living testimony of that. And be sure to follow me on Instagram if you don't already.
Yes, let's put up her information, Bobby. You can reach her on Instagram. I believe it is at Marsha H.
It's
_ Marsh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Marsh
Marsh
underscore.
Marsh with 2 H's.
Yes,
Underscore.
underscore. All right. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I really, truly appreciate it.
Thank you so
have
much for
just
having
been
me.
truly a delight, and you will be coming back, my friend.
I will.
All right, perfect. So we're going to get real quick to the Dare to Be You. And basically, the Dare to Be You is this. Get out there and teach, encourage, instruct, mentor, praise, influence, guide, and inspire our youth. They need it so badly, especially now, today, in this world. So please go out there and share this. Share some type of inspiration, some type of guidance, some type of love, just something to the youth in your world, in your space, in your community, in your neighborhood. I'm telling you, it will go a long way, and you will feel so full and fulfilled inside. So I'd like to thank you again. I'm sitting up here tripping over my words, but I'd like to thank you again for viewing another episode of You Are Unity. I want to thank my co-host, Miss Selene Ferdinand. She is so amazing. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you for making me your co-host again.
Oh, no problem. You're my co-host going forward. The youth edition, this is, get used to us, my friends. Get used to it. Thank you again, beautiful, for being here as well, Marsha. It was so cool. And again,
I love being here.
Oh, thank you.
And I will be back.
Yes, she will. Yes, she will. So I want you guys to remember that peace and love is in the palm of your hand. See, different camera angle. You see, it's a different set. Everything is different. But peace and love is in the palm of our hands. I want you to go out there and share some love, spread some love, give some love. Have a wonderful week. Remember that I love you, and we will see you next week on You Are Unity. Say good night, guys.
Good night. Good night.
Strong Island Entertainment.